Hi everyone, it's Fluffy Penguin here with another video for you, but before we jump into the video, I want to shine a bright spotlight on Sam Young Official for the amazing track that's included in this video. It's a beautiful rendition of Dearly Beloved and it has its own twist to it. If you like what you hear, I really recommend you listening to his other works and maybe giving him some support. I'll include his information down below if you are interested. Really, you're not wasting your time if you take a listen. Now, let's get started with the video. The latest wave of screenshots for Kingdom Hearts 3 was just released a couple days ago, and in this video I'm going to go over these images. Some of them are of just character images, and some others are of cutscene stills. I do want to go more in depth with the cutscene stills, but I will go over just the character images as well, just in case anyone was interested in seeing them or haven't seen them. And considering this is my first video doing something like this, I hope you guys will bear with me, as a lot of what I'm saying is a little unscripted. I kind of tend to avoid rough drafts, but if you are interested and want to continue the discussion or have any opinions or thoughts, please feel free to leave them in the comments, because I really love reading all that stuff. So I'll be showing the character images first, because I don't think there's too much to go over except just highlighting the details and colors of each character. I think it's pretty interesting and pretty neat to see how much Square has developed their engine and how much progress Kingdom Hearts has made in terms of the aesthetic. It's super interesting and super neat, so I'll just kind of quickly go over these, but feel free to pause the video if you want to take a closer look at your character. So we have Chip here, and I think he looks pretty adorable with his little worker outfit. Same can be said with Dale. I like his little toothy grin. He always looked pretty silly to me, and I actually am pretty excited to see Chip and Dale have more screen time, considering that they are with you throughout a lot of the adventures in the Gummy Ship. So it'd be cool to kind of see more interactions between them. Next, we have the Frozen monster, which we've already seen a couple times in the gameplay trailer. Again, it's just super interesting to see the colors and the light shades of blue that he has on his body. His name is Marshmallow, and that's something that I recently just learned. Wasn't a biggest fan of Frozen, but didn't hate it either. So I'm really excited to kind of fight alongside him. Next, we have Jiminy Cricket, our little companion here that unfortunately doesn't get any screen time except from Chain of Memories. So I hope he has more to say and more things to do in the journey. At the very least, comment on certain things that happen in the game. I think that would be kind of cool. Next, we have Yen Sid. Again, we've seen him in trailers already, and at first I wasn't a big fan of how he looked. I thought his facial expressions were a little weird, but definitely it seems that they've improved, considering that they've spent about 5 years working on the game since they announced it. So it's nice to see that it's much more refined than previous trailers. Next, we have Ienzo. He is pretty cool. I've always been a big fan of his. I remember when I was younger, I thought he was Riku's brother or cousin or something. This was before I really cared about the story and just kind of assumed things. Well, I've actually warmed up to him a little bit, and now considering that he's gonna be a companion in Sora's party, I would very much like to see how that dynamic will unfold, especially considering that Axel killed Zexion. I think it'd be interesting if Ienzo remembers that, or if that will come up in the game. I'd like to see the drama unfold. Next, we have the Queen Bee herself, Larxene. She is a whole other word that I don't like to say. I was very excited to see her return, and it looks like she's sporting the Xehanort eyes. I like that you get to see more of her daggers in detail, and I really want to see her role expanded a lot more, considering that she's one of the very few female Kingdom Hearts characters, and I have a spot for female villains, so I hope her role kind of becomes as important, if not more important, than Chain of Memories. So we'll have to wait and see for that. Next, we have Lee. Lee is amazing, and I am actually glad that they released a still for his character. I love his Keyblade, and at first I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I thought it looked a little weird, but I like how they incorporated his chakrams into the weapon itself. I actually didn't even notice that the first time, even in Dream Drop distance when he was able to summon the Keyblade. I didn't pay too much attention to it for some reason until now. I think that's interesting. And if you notice, he doesn't have his purple teardrops anymore, or at least I believe they're purple. But he doesn't have those anymore, and I think that's just to further emphasize that this is now Lee and not Axel. But he looks great regardless. I like his finger on the top of his head. That's kind of his staple, the "you got it memorized" spiel that he does. The only thing I don't like is that he doesn't have a new outfit. I'm kind of hoping that at some point he will get one, or they're just hiding it. I think it'd be kind of interesting if he does. But let's move on. Next we have Marluxia. He is sporting his big boy scythe, and I have always loved this character. What I found more interesting was originally he was written as a female character, but Tetsuya Nomura didn't want 2 female antagonists in Chain of Memories, so he reshaped Marluxia as a male character. But he looks great, and I can't wait to see more of his development in Kingdom Hearts 3. Next we have the big bad Xehanort. Yeah, he looks just as intimidating and grouchy and evil as always. What I find a little bit interesting is the veins at the top of his head. I don't think that was there before. I'll go more in depth in this later on with another particular image, but if I'm wrong, please let me know. I'm not really sure he had those in prior games. But I'll discuss that later. So moving on from the character images, we're going to talk about the in-game cutscene stills. And the first 3 images I have here are of Chip and Dale, which is pretty neat to see. Seems like they're having a conversation with Sora over his new FaceTime Kingdom Hearts-esque iPhone. This might be an early section of the game. A tutorial session for the gummy ship, I believe. You can see the device in front of them while they're talking. So not much to dissect here except the fact that we see them in action, but still I'm very excited to see Chip and Dale. The next 2 images are of the Frozen world, and right here we have Marshmallow holding onto Anna and Kristoff. And if you see in the bottom left corner, you can see Olaf as well. He looks like he is a little traumatized from whatever is happening. But I'm assuming this is the part of the game where Anna and Kristoff go to Elsa's castle to try to bring her back, and Marshmallow is there to stop them. Anna looks a little upset. Anna looks a little upset, so I think that might be the situation there. And this image right here is of gameplay. Again, it's not something we haven't seen before. Still looks very nice. The only thing that looks strange to me in this image is Marshmallow looks a little small, and I think that's just because of the blur that's going on in the back. I feel like both Sora and Marshmallow don't look as tall. Maybe that's just me. But again, not much to really focus on here. So in this image, we have Ienzo in Radiant Garden, specifically within Ansem's study, behind his study actually. Seems like he's taken residence in Radiant Garden. I'm not really sure what his role will be in Kingdom Hearts, and more specifically with Sora. I can only guess how he becomes a member of their company, considering that we've seen in trailers him having conversations with Sora through that device in his hand. So it'd be interesting to see what dynamic they have. The next image here is of Larxene, which looks very familiar. We have seen this scene before in the Frozen trailer. This might be a part of the midpoint of the world, I believe. Just like all the other ones, there's not a lot to say, only the fact that it seems that they're in an enveloped darkness, maybe Larxene conjured. I remember in the gameplay trailer, Kristoff was right behind Larxene and was frozen. So I'm assuming they may have developed powers to manipulate time as well. Maybe that's a far-fetched theory, but I don't know. I believe if you look back, Kristoff is frozen in time, and Sora, Company, and Larxene are having a conversation. Who knows? I think this could be a possibility. And this scene is amazing. I love the lighting in this still. It's beautiful. I love the yellow tints and the green behind. The red really stands out. I wonder what they're talking about. I believe this might be the place where they're training with Merlin. I can't wait to see what unfolds. And now we have Mad Boy. He looks pretty upset, or maybe he just looks that way constantly. But he does sport the Xehanort eyes, and this definitely looks like the Tangled world. His hair looks a little less saturated, little less pink, if that is just me. Not a criticism in the slightest, but it does look a little different. It could just be me, and maybe a little tanner if I have to really look at it. But again, it looks great, and again, I can't wait to see him try to stop Sora in his mission. Now, these next two stills are going to be Yen Sid and his tower. Again, it looks really nice, really crisp and clear. The colors look great. I love the stars in the background. They're not that noticeable, but once you do pay attention to them, I think they look stunning. The next still is another conversation. The group seems to be obviously having a conversation with Yen Sid. What that conversation entails, we're not really sure yet, but this might take place mid-game, I believe, considering that Mickey, Sora, and Riku have their new outfits. Or it could take place later on, maybe towards the third half of the game, maybe endgame, but we'll see. And this image in particular is what kind of interests me. We see Sora carry a luggage case, it seems, and we're not really sure what's in it yet. A lot of people have speculated of different things. I believe it might be his new outfit. There's not a lot to go on from any of the trailers we've been given to make any kind of deduction of what's in it, but I don't think it's anything too plot-centric. I think it is interesting and worth noting Goofy's and Donald's expressions. It seems like they're trying to listen to something, and maybe they're trying to listen to what's inside the box, but if that was the case, Donald would be trying to listen with his other ear, as opposed to his left ear. So I think it might be something else. Not sure what, but can't wait to see the scene for sure. And to finish off with the Yen Sid Tower scene, we have another angle of, I presume is the same scene from before. Not much to really decipher here. It seems like they're just listening to what Yen Sid has to say. So that should be interesting. And this last scene, oh man, we get a great image of Xehanort. And the reason why I think this image is really striking and interesting is not just the color scheme and the lighting that's involved in here, but just how maniacal he looks. He looks like nothing can faze him, and whatever plan he's got going on, it's working. And it's made much more interesting when he's looking directly at the player. The veins on his head, again, I'm not sure if that was on his head before. My belief is the darkness that he controls is gradually taking over him, maybe just empowering him. It's a physical manifestation of the darkness he's able to control, similar to his golden eyes. I think the veins on the top of his head is just another feature of the darkness that he can control. And with that, that was the last image released. Again, not a lot of context for a lot of these things. It's still very nice to just see snippets of the final game. I don't know if any of this information was helpful, but I did want to showcase this off to you guys. This was something that was brought to my attention, and I wanted to make a video about it. I didn't see a lot of people discussing the screenshots. Maybe it just wasn't as exciting as I thought it was. Anything Kingdom Hearts related, I go crazy for, so maybe that's just me. But I would definitely like to hear about your interpretations or your analysis on any of these images. I would love to have discussions regarding any Kingdom Hearts topic. So if there's any speculation or anything that you noticed that I didn't or want to bring up, definitely leave it in the comments below. And if you have any advice or suggestions on things that I should cover next, if you're interested in hearing me ramble and ramble and ramble, again, leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. That would definitely help me out. I know I'm still a fairly new YouTuber, or rather interested in getting into YouTube. And I definitely want to do the best that I can. So if you have any advice or suggestions, definitely feel free to leave leave it in the comments as well. And with that, I'm going to leave you with my favorite track from Sam Young Official. Don't forget to give him some love, guys. Remember, stay fluffy and stay happy. See you guys next time.